us, and upon all those who will continue to follow their footsteps till the day of accounting. Thereafter, I extend the best courtesy by saying, may Allah's peace and blessings abide with us. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Ta'aleem. We thank Allah for bringing us together again. We appreciate the gift of life, the gift of faith, security, peace of mind, good health, and happiness, all of which combine to make tonight's meeting possible and easy. We ask Allah to accept this from us, to forgive our sins by means of it, to pardon our mistakes, to overlook our faults, to make us inmates of Al-Jannah and admit us into Al-Jannah. Tonight, we tried to do a voice note, but something just happened. It was deleted. So we are going to just make a repeat of the voice note and make it snappy. We have discussed managing old age. The baseline is this. We are saying this so that when we get there, we will understand ourselves. We will know what is happening to us because Allah has said it will happen. When we make anyone grow old, we reverse him. This reversal will take the form of not knowing much after knowing so much. This reversal is also physical. We have discussed it twice. Most part of the body, the organs of the body will reverse, will get old and then get weak. The body will not be the same at this point. We have also looked at the psychological dimension, which is also linked with the physical reversal. Because the body is no longer what it used to be, the brain does not also function the way it used to be. And therefore, there is the tendency for the old person to put up attitudes that will be nauseating, that will be annoying, that will be provocative. Allah knows the natural response to this situation will be to talk silly to the old person. So we treated Surah Isra last week. Allah says, do not say as much as oof. Do not quarrel. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And say to them words of honor. Now, we want to look at the last point. After this, we go to grandparenting. Grandparenting is also a big subject, and we are taking it together with old age because usually the grandparent is an old person. The earliest you can become a grandparent is 50. 50 is the youth of old age. And if you are not as lucky as early as a man, you are likely to be around 60 when your grandchildren will start coming. So we want to take them together, but we want to end, inshallah ta'ala, the old age spiritual reversal. There are 3 points we want to make tonight. The first one is that as a result of physical reversal, physical weakness, arthritis, for example, that should set in around 50 for the woman, and that must start appearing around 60 for the man, but which may vary. We always talk about the average here, which may also vary from person to person. Prayer becomes painful to them as a result of what we were told last week. Sometimes a 60, 70-year-old person may have to settle for praying on a chair, praying seated. The worst is almost always on a wheelchair. May Allah save us from there. the old person, on the average, finds prayer painful because of the genuflections. What he loses in painful prayer, impossible fasting, 70, 80, on the average, there are people who still fast by 90, who will still pray during the genuflection, even by 90, but they are not many. They are not many. So we find a situation where you find the old person not enjoying prayers the way he used to enjoy prayer. How do you manage this? When you advance in age, increase your nawafil so that by the time you are getting weak, two things will happen. Either you use the nawafil you increase, for example, you should get used to doing tahajjud. If you miss tahajjud, do 12 rakah in a day. 2 rak'atain al-fajr, 2 or 4 before Zuhr, 2 or 4 after Zuhr, 2 or 4 before Asri, 2 after Maghrib. And for fear of not being able to observe Isha, to observe Tahajjud, 4 rak'ah after Isha. And then some people also do Salatul Tawbah, which makes their Nawafil after Isha to be 6. So those who do Salatul Tawbah do it before they sleep. So they do 4 rak'ah after Isha immediately and do Salatul Tawbah before they sleep. Then one way to sustain this is also to do dua. By the time you are 60 and you have retired, you have no pressure on your time. So you start doing dua if arthritis has not set in. This dua, tahajjud, and other 12 rakah of nawafil, 4 rakah after Isha, will get your body used to salawat. So that as you advance in age, it is possible to still be able to do your salawat, to now enjoy it, to make it part of your body, to make it your own exercise by old age. So by 70, 80, it is expected that somebody who has been doing dua for 10, 15 years will find it easy to observe ordinary salawat, even if the dua will reduce from 12 to 8, 8 to 6, 6 to 4. It may not disappear. It may not disappear. And even if the tahajjud and dua will disappear at 80, 90, then the salawat will not disappear. The salawat will not be with much pain. It pains people who have been used to a particular rewarding activities. I know an old man, he cried one day, and what made him cry was the inability to observe fasting, Mondays and Thursdays, tatawu, that he had been observing for 60 years. So he cried at 80. He started observing it maybe after 20, before he married. And he observed it for more than 60 years. And at very old age, after 80, he wasn't able to observe Tatawu again. And it was wonderful that it was this Monday, Thursday fasting that controlled his diabetes. Nobody knew that Baba was diabetic until the time he died. But the fasting controlled his diabetes. And it was very wonderful. Very, very wonderful. His son could not afford, although his son also is diabetic, his son could not afford this fasting. And the son is also getting old. May Allah make it easy for us. So this is how to manage the first phase of the spiritual reversal. You won't be able to do the nawafil, and even the ordinary prayers 5 times a day will become painful. The second thing that relates to this is that forgetfulness will make prayer boring to him. Although on another scale, it will please him that if he's doing nafila, the first problem will be, have I done sujud before? Is this the second sujud? The next one is this the second rakah? Kukuma, stand up and do it. Even if it is 3, do it as 3. What is important is that you should do your nawafil. So you find the forgetting, forgetfulness, going from ordinary forgetfulness to amnesia, reducing from amnesia to dementia, and so on. So it will affect him spiritually. Every time he wants to pray, he will forget. He will not be sure how many rakah he has observed. Don't forget that we are preparing you and ourselves for old age. We are also assisting ourselves to manage our old people, and we are assisting ourselves to know what we have done wrong when we managed old people. If they have died, you continue to seek forgiveness of Allah. If they have not died, you change attitudes towards them. This is the point. So we go to the second point. This second point, we are going to use 2 great prophets, one a great grandfather to the other. We're going to use Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who is our father in faith, who is the model of faith. I'm not going to tell you what I think about it. I'm going to tell you the story. We are going to read it together. Then you are going to make your deductions from the story. It's a spiritual experience. But I'm going to warn you that it is best interpreted. We did not read it in any book, but this incident is best interpreted as transformation of faith, iman to yaqeen, faith to certainty. It is not doubt. It is transformation of faith to certainty. There are other things that we can deduce from the incident. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was looking for a child for a long time. And at a point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent angels to him. So when he saw them, he became afraid of them. I'm reading now from Surah Al-Ijri. The same story is in Surah Al-Hud. Surah Al-Ijri from Ayah 52. Izdakhalu alayhi, when they entered upon him, faqalu salam, he said peace to them. They were angels, but they appear like human beings. Qala inna minkum wajlun, he said, indeed, we are fearful. We are fearful of you. We have not seen you before. The way you look, you scare us. Ibrahim told the angels that they were scary. Qalu la tajal, they said, don't fear. Inna nubashiruka bi gulamin alim, we came to give you glad tidings. Gulamun alim. In Surah Al-Hud, when the angels refused to talk, to eat, he became afraid of them. The one
Salam alaikum. I can't hear anymore. I don't know.
It's not only you, ma.
I think it's his network. It's going to come back soon.
Across France and probably hundreds of thousands of
Please let somebody tell Prof. Oh, he might not be aware.
We are attending to it, ma'am.
Ó ṣẹlẹ̀ fún ẹ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ náà.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very sorry. Was reading connected. Alhamdulillah, I'm back. The Prophet of Allah and his friend Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was told that he was going to have Gulamin Alim, a knowledgeable boy. He had prayed for several years, decades, he had no child. Now, angels are telling him he will have a child. Call. أبشرتموني على أن مساني الكبر فبما تبشرون. Here he says, are you giving me good tidings? Although old age has come upon me. What are you telling me? You are telling me that I will have a child at old age? In Surah Al-Hud, the wife laughed. The angels now told her that you are going to have a child. And the wife slapped herself and said, you want to Akim, an old barren woman? She also contested it with the angels. The angels said, don't doubt what Allah has promised you. The whatever Allah gives as Bushra is certainly going to come to pass. And it is not good. In this surah, the angels replied, Qalu basharnaka bil aqqa fala takun minal qanitin. They said, we are giving you good tidings in truth, so do not be one of those who despair. Arafat, mute now. Arafat, please mute. Oh, mute him now. Thank you. So the prophet of Allah now says, the angel said, we give you these glad tidings in truth. Do not be among those who despair. Qala, وَمَنْ يَقْنُتْ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ رَبِّهِ إِلَّا الضَّالُونَ. Nobody despairs of the mercy of his Lord except those who are astray. So this is Ibrahim. This is the wife of Ibrahim in Surah Hud, contesting the glad tidings of a prayer they had made for so long when they are given the glad tidings at old age. Now, let's go to Zechariah. After taking the two stories, I want to leave the conclusion for you. Allah says, Zikr Rahmat Rabbika Abda'u Zakaria. This is the mention of the mercy of your Lord to his servant Zachariah. Is nada Rabba'u Nida and Khafiya. When he called his Lord in private, what he wanted to tell Allah, he didn't want anybody else to hear. Now, see his prayer. Qala Rabbi inni wa ana al-athmu minni wastala rasu shayban wa lam akun bidu'aika Rabbi shakiya. He had been saying, Rabbi la tazarni farida wa anta khairul warithin. My Lord, don't leave me barren, although you are the best of inheritors. He had prayed for several decades until he became old. Now he wanted to do final prayer. He told Allah, see, my Lord, my bones have weakened. My head is full of white hair, but you have never disappointed me in my prayer, except this one. Therefore, I'm afraid of what is going to happen after me. I'm ready for death. I know I'm not going to have a child. And my wife is barren. Therefore, give me from your presence a wali, yarithuni. This wali will inherit me. وَيَرِثُ مِنْ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ, and he will inherit the family of Yaqub. وَجَعَلُهُ رَبِّ رَضِيًّا, and make him, my Lord, the one you will be pleased with. Then Allah listen. He is saying, since you have refused to give me a child, I'm used to it, I'm happy. But in order that the grace of being from the family of prophets will not end on me, give me somebody from you. That person will inherit me, inherit the family of Yaqub, and you will be pleased with him. You'll be pleased with him because he's not going to be a son of a prophet, but he's going to be just a wali. So be pleased with him. Allah said, Ya Zakaria, oh Zakaria, inna nubashiruka bigulamin ismuhu Yahya, lam naj'al lahu min qablu samiyya. We give you a glad tidings of a child. His name is Yahya. Just like Allah told his great-grandfather, Ibrahim والسلام, that we are giving you the glad tidings of Isaac, and Isaac will also give birth to Yaqub. So you are going to have a child and a grandchild. Allah named the two. Allah named Yahya to Zachariah too. So instead of making the discussion to end, Allah said, nobody has been given that name before him. He's the first human being to bear that name. Yahya. Zachariah said, Rabbi anna yakunu li gulam. How can I ever have a child? Wa kanat imraati akira. My wife has become barren. Wa qad balagtu min al-kibri itiya. And I've reached the peak of old age. How can I have a child? I've been begging you since. Before I got old, before my wife became barren, you didn't give me a child. You are telling me now that I'm going to have a child and you have done the naming ceremony. How is it possible? Then Allah says, قَالَ كَذَلِكَ قَالَ رَبُّكَ وَلَا يَعْيِنُ وَقَدْ خَلَقْتُكَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَلَمْ تَكُ شَيْئًا. The angel said, this is what your Lord says. It is easy for me, for I created you before while you were nothing. Shouldn't the argument end there? It did not end. Zachariah said, Rabbi, ij'alli ayah. My Lord, give me a sign. Let me have evidence for this thing you are saying. Qala ayatuka alla tukallima an-nasa salasa layalin sawiyya. Your sign is that you won't be able to talk to anybody for 3 nights. Allah took away his voice, the voice with which he was arguing. Allah took it away. So he فخرج على قومه من المحراب فوحى إليهم أن سبحوا بكرة وعشيا. He now went to his people. He went down from the mihrab and he told his people by sign to do tasbih morning and evening. These are the two stories. These old people, they have the grace of istijaba of their prayer, probably because even if they are not able to pray, to do more nafila, to fast, they are always sedentary. And what Allah uses to make them stand up, to walk around, is frequent urination. But while they are seated, those of them who were scholars, like my father and uncle, will be reading Quran. And the Quran is the greatest zikr, is the greatest dua. Once they are no longer working, and their grandchildren that used to be their companion will have gone to school, they will occupy their time. Why not sleeping? Why not eating? Why not praying? They will occupy their time with reading the Quran. Those who do not read the Quran will do tasbih. They will do tazkir. They will do askar. Because of this, they gather spiritual power. Their prayers are answered. They become stronger spiritually, although they reverse in physical spiritual activities. They increase in non-physical spiritual power, spiritual strength, and ability, capacity. What we just read, to me, is not argument, it's not doubt. It is demand for certainty. Their faith has improved, has transformed, has upgraded from ordinary faith to certainty. It's no longer ordinary iman, but yaqeen. That is why they were telling Allah the physical and material condition that will make the bearing of a child impossible. Because infertility is the greatest human problem, because it is the duty of human beings on behalf of Allah. We procreate. If it is poverty, you can borrow money. Somebody can assist you. Somebody can get you out of poverty. If you're a crooked person, you can steal. But if it is infertility, it has no solution except if Allah grants you a child. Here we are. The material condition for bearing a child is if the woman is still menstruating, she has not reached menopause, and she has not become too old to even be slept with. Now, the man to still have his erection, and usually after some time, man gradually loses his erection after he reaches old age. His activities begins to come down, like Allah has said, like we have discussed, and sometimes the last casualty is the private part, is the erection. Now, if he cannot get his kick, like the two of them knew they could not get their kick, so they were using old age to express it. They were using old age and barrenness to express it for their wives. But Allah is telling them He will give them a child. So Allah uses them to do miracles. Allah works out miracles in old people. If they work with shaitan, they will be doing magic. If they work with Allah, they will talk less, they will pray more, but their prayers are answered with istijaba, min tarfatain in some cases. Immediate answering of their prayer happens sometimes in some cases. So although they have reversal physically, they don't have reversal spiritually. I don't want us to interpret this to mean that, okay, they now have weak iman. No, they are looking for certainty, and Allah grants this certainty to them. It is yaqeen. I may be wrong. I have told you the story. The summary of tonight's discussion is this. The old person suffers reversal physically, psychologically. Therefore, his spiritual activities are affected. He may not be able to do physical, spiritual activities. Even salat becomes painful. But the good ones among them will be always doing fight that. Which kind of person is this now? Fight that salam. Thank you. So these old people, they have seen life. They don't usually think of how to acquire more if they are pious. You must actually be following shaitan at 70 if you're still thinking of making millions. At 70, 80 is a period of deep spiritual insight, less desire, and preparation to go. You can still be rascally at 60 because what you hope to make at 50, if you fail to make it, you can still try at 60. But 70 is the boundary. By 70, you have very deep insight into the world. You have a very deep understanding of the world, and you are no longer interested in getting more troubles because the world becomes trouble and problematic to you. It is said that some of the time, on the average, old people around 70 to 80 sometimes forget that they can sleep with each other. it becomes very rare and they make fun of it. It's very funny. Two people that are very old is very funny. The time they want to do it, they make fun of themselves. They still want to do this thing. You know, even polygamists among them. It is only men that can still struggle after that. Because again, for many men, at that time, you will need drugs, whether kayamata, whether it is herbs, whether it is food supplement, whether it is actual aphrodisiac, to be able to function if you have younger wives that will still need you at 70. Sometimes at 60, some people lose it. So their experiences make them achieve certainty. Their certainty makes them think less of this world. So when something great is being expected, they doubt it because they wonder what they want to use, what they want to do with a child at very old age. But Allah surprised Ibrahim. He gave him Isaac at old age, and he made Isaac grow to have a grandchild for him. And Yaqub became Nafila to Ibrahim. Many people don't even know that Yaqub was born by Isaac. Many people think that because when he was going to die, he gathered Ismail, Isaac, and Yaqub. So, and Allah mentioned him. So this is it. The great things they have at old age, they are always very, very pleased with it. Any small thing, they are always very pleased. They always thank Allah. Oman jomoluju, oriman jomoluju. And this is a spiritual quality that young people don't have. Young people will think that whatever they achieve is due to their power. Old people know that whatever Allah gives them, Allah just gives them. They don't regard themselves as having the capacity to achieve anything anymore. Not because they don't recognize the great favors of Allah on them, which ordinarily will qualify them to get whatever they want to get. Is it connection? If they are teachers, they will have produced many students who have made it. If they were civil servants, their very junior ones will have made it. Their own children will also have made it. But they will be so close to Allah that they will review what they have taken in life and they are grateful for little mercies. So I do not see their physical reversal that affect their physical spiritual activity as really a minus. The reversal changed their attitude, spiritual attitude to askar, and it makes the world smaller in their lives if they are righteous. So if they are not righteous, then they want more of the world without asking, if I get it, I will spend it for how long? I want to stop here so that our fathers and mothers who are at home may contribute, and then whoever has better insight may enrich this conversation. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Mr. Engineer, you are not on the platform, please.
I don't think so, sir. Okay, can we now signify raise our digital hand to contribute to this discourse so that you can start calling us one after another. Thank you. Nobody is raising their hand. Is there anybody that wants to talk?
The summary tonight is this. As a result of physical reversals, salawat and nawafil are very difficult for the old people. This may be a minus. We have said the way to manage this is when you are approaching old age, especially when you retire at 60, begin to increase your nawafil so that by the time you get to real old age, your body will have gotten used to this nawafil. So even if they are going to reduce, everything may not go because salat is physical exercise and is a physiological management of old age. So I thought also that, however, they get closer to Allah. They think less of this world, and so their faith transforms into certainty. Dr. Zikrullah Abiodun Ganiu, black man in white man's land.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well, Jazakumullah khairan for this great insight into the life of these two great men of God and the exposition of the fact that the older that these people grow, the closer they becomes to Allah. I think my only comment is to say that as children or grandchildren, the best we can gain from these people who in a way has almost become part of God, because like you have said, they think less of this world. I am fortunate to have about 4 of them who are very old people who each time you, it amazes me that as old as one of my grandpa is, he still fast every Monday and Thursday. In fact, we were begging him to stop fasting what they call our Arubo recently. And he said, okay, if you will not fast our Arubo, he will be fasting, he will fast 3 at the beginning, 3 at the middle, 3 at the end, if we force him not to fast. And one of the old grandma told me last year that somebody told her that because of her age, she should not fast. And she has to give me a call to ask that, is it a crime for old people to fast Ramadan? She's healthy, she has been doing it. And I said, no, it's not haram. May Allah just increase you in good health. My point is that these people at this age, if they have been used to such spiritual exercise, they almost become close to God to the point that, like you have said, any prayer they offer gets almost immediate answer. And the best we can as children is to do things that will make them pray for us all the time. And whatever we do, they are always very eager to pray. If I call them now, before I say good afternoon, they will start praying. They will sometimes, wonder as if they don't have any other thing to do. And that's every now and then is how to pray for the children. And as children and grandchildren, like I always say, the best we can do is how do we make them happy. And they always contented with small things. Send them 5,000 naira a month. They will call the whole world to announce that, Lagbaja, they will call me. The Kulai, Lagbaja gave me 1,000 naira. But me do quite lower, 1,000 naira. What does that do? Lagbaja bring me a Congo of rice. But me do quite lower. They will pray as if. So In other words, as children, I think we have this opportunity while they are alive to maximize the opportunity by doing these little goods to them, and they earn their prayer. May Allah continue to spare such people's life, our old parents, and also grant us old age.
Graceful old age, amen. Healthy old age, amen. And pious old age, amen. Somebody was raising hand. The person dropped. Yeah. I don't know if I know.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum.
Although I joined in a little bit late, but I discovered I have a particular friend. Don't know, as you have said, we should all be preparing for our old age. May Allah make it easy for us. But I thought that this particular friend of mine, she has been complaining, and I don't know the answer to give her. She's also almost in her 60s, like 57, 50 something, almost in her 60s. But she told me that she discovered recently to even observe a salat is so difficult for her. At times she just said she just sit down to even observe salat. She was not imagining that our mother, who she's already 80 plus, she still managed to stand up, struggle to observe the salat and do this fasting, this Rajab and all other fasting. Although say alhamdulillah for the fasting, she's still trying. But the salat is a major problem. I also discovered that if she wakes up at night for tahajjud nowadays, hey, by the time in the morning she'll be having series of headache, and she doesn't even know what to do. So me, as far as I know, it's the work of shaitan, or maybe it's age that is telling her. I know some people they age earlier than others. Some people by the time they are 60 years, you'll be wondering, how old is this person that she's working on? She's doing like this. And some by 90 years is so active, so agile, and all sorts of things. So I don't know the advice or what you think you can tell her to do to improve on this.
Alaikum salam. Thank you. You see, old age sets in early. For the woman, she's certainly old at 50. At 50, we expect arthritis. If she's fat and tall, yeah, she's in trouble. I'm not a medic, but I have counseled many people. We have less problem with people who have no flesh, who have no much flesh, who are not fat, who are not tall. We have more problems with those who are fat and tall. So we find that they usually get onto the chair to pray, sometimes before 60, as women. Some men too, but men hardly do that if there is no serious problem before 60. In fact, on the average, the men will reach 70. And many men will still manage up till 80. Now, activities are affected. And we are told also that blood pressure, BP, affects it. Diabetes affected. So it is not really work of shaitan, because what shaitan does is to make you like to do it. But shaitan does not account for your physical health. So we are talking about the average. What she should be doing is to do the tahajjud the way she can, but she can be reading the Quran during the night. She can do 4 rakah and sit down and read 1 juzu and then rest. So what is important is that there must be standing, there must be sujud, there must be recitation. These are the 3 things. There must be standing, there must be sujud, there must be recitation of the Quran. So if she cannot recite the Quran long while standing, she can now finish 4 rakah or 8, as the case may be, and then recite the Quran after. May Allah make it easy. The Quran is the means to gather spiritual power, and then she can do askar. She would do la ilaha illallah, subhanallah, or combine it, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, akbar. She will be doing that morning, night, evening, afternoon, every time, so that she will not lose her spiritual power. She should not compare herself with her parents, because what they ate is not what she eats. What they did in their life is not what we do. Sometimes, in rare cases, the number of children that the woman has given birth to, especially male children, will come back to the woman to weaken her. Women who have more female children are still strong up to old age. But women who have more male children are not always strong up to 60. By 60, they have started having issues. We don't know why, but we have seen coincidences. We have seen coincidences. Wallahu ta'ala alam. We also don't know why most tall, fat people always have difficulties praying at old age. We don't know why. We don't know the medical reason, but we have coincidences. Wallahu alam. If there is no other contribution, can the national coordinator close this program?
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. We thank you, we thank Allah again for the opportunity to be in this call this night again, wherever we are joining, especially our people from the other side of the country. We know some of you are making sacrifices. It might be in the dead of the night with some of you.
So
We
as
pray Almighty
the-
Allah to accept all these as act of ibadah for you. We pray Allah to continue to preserve our Imam in goodness, in health, and in sound Iman. We pray Almighty Allah to continue to provide for us, give our head and heart, and make this particular class a successful and beneficial one for us in this one at the hereafter. Jazakumullah khairan. Till next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا لنكونن من
آمين
الخاسرين واسرافنا في وثبت
آمين
قلوبنا للكل الكافر ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الاخره حسنة سبحانك ونشهد ان لا اله
آمين
الا انت سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakumullah khairan.
جزاكم الله